100 billion mist mothers can nurture a total of 10 misty fog monsters. 3 scarlet brood mothers are 30 misty fog monsters. In addition, the quality and efficiency of cultivating high-quality scarlet heirs has also increased. Currently, I can already nurture 100 mid-level supreme will realm experts or 1,000 low-level supreme will realm experts in a day. Mugu said. Zhou Zhou fell into deep thought. Cultivating 30 supreme will realm experts in a day. What kind of concept was this? 10,000 Gai units made up 1 Z unit. 10,000 Z units made up 1 Rang unit. 10,000 Rang units made up 1 Go unit. It produced a total of 30 Go unit fog monsters every day. This was too much. If he used these 30 Go units fog monsters to nurture his soldier type, with the enhancement of Lord talents and titles, he would be able to obtain 60 Go units of recruitment books, 60 Go units of class change certificate, 60 Go units of recruitment books, and 60 Go units of class change certificate. A total of 120 Go unit soldiers. That was a total of 120 Go units of God spirits. Zhou Zhou suddenly felt bored. Isn't this number 2 F asterisk king arrogant? Should I lie flat next? That's not right. Lay flat my A asterisk S. What was the use of having so many low-level soldiers? In front of a true expert, it was easy to destroy a world with a thought. Moreover, the most important thing was that with so many God's spirit-level supreme soldier types, once they were recruited, how much of the origin energy of the great cosmos would be sucked dry? Zhou Zhou couldn't figure it out himself, so he simply brought Zero over to help him calculate. Zero quickly calculated the results. Reporting to your majesty. If we recruit a supreme soldier type with the strength of 120 Go unit God spirits at once, we will need at least 12,000 great cosmos origin energy. Zhou Zhou. According to the law of conservation of energy, I knew that there was no such thing in this world that could casually have a God spirit at the level of 120 Go units. If I dare to recruit them, all the experts in the ultimate void great cosmos will come over to destroy me. The illusionist clan just wanted them to cease to exist. However, I would have destroyed all living beings in the universe. Even the illusionist clan is not as ruthless as me. Zhou Zhou was a little conflicted. If he could not recruit and change all of them, should he only summon a portion? What about the remaining production capacity? Was it a waste? Then his heart would ache. Zhou Zhou thought for a moment and threw this question to Mugu. Mugu, what do you think? Reporting to your majesty. Mugu said respectfully, I have 2 suggestions. The first suggestion is not to produce recruitment books and class change certificates for the primordial saint and supreme demon god soldier types. Gather all the scarlet energy to nurture supreme will realm experts. This also suits His Majesty's current urgent need for a supreme will realm expert. If I specially nurture 1,000 low-level scarlet supreme will realm experts, I only need all the origin energy of the 5 great cosmos to produce them all at once. The second suggestion is that your majesty collaborate with me to produce an eternal soldier type. When Mugu said this, his eyes sparkled. With His Majesty's control over the Lord talent and His Majesty's huge foundation of luck, it's completely possible to grasp a small probability event and only produce the Origin Walker recruitment books, an eternal immortal realm soldier type. In that case, I estimate that I can produce 1,000 Origin Walker recruitment books a day. Moreover, creating the Origin Walker recruitment books and summoning it from the gate of summoning doesn't require the origin energy of the ultimate void great cosmos, because the source of the Origin Walker's energy comes from inside that door. Mugu pointed at the sky as he spoke. Zhou Zhou nodded, and he naturally knew that the other party was talking about the door of the immortal palace. Zhou Zhou thought for a moment and asked, why is the energy required for these 3 cultivation methods so different? Because they're different people. Mugu said simply. Zhou Zhou was speechless. Your Majesty, you can simply understand it as the adaptation of the ultimate void great cosmos. Mugu thought for a moment and said, the ultimate void great cosmos can adapt to the sudden appearance of 1,000 supreme will realm experts, but it can't adapt to the sudden appearance of 120 Go unit supreme soldier type god spirits. Zhou Zhou still did not understand. He always felt that there was a secret that he didn't know. However, he didn't care. It was not bad to carry out elite training. Didn't he want to have more basic soldiers because he wanted to nurture strong people from the basic soldiers? Now, Giving it to him directly saved him the process. Then let's nurture 500 Origin Walkers and 500 low-level Supreme Will Realm Experts first. He thought for a moment and said, this could not only satisfy the leveling requirements, but also increase the number of Origin Walkers. Actually, Zhou Zhou preferred to focus on nurturing the Origin Walker. Origin Walkers were much stronger than Supreme Will Realm Experts after all. They could not be afraid of any existence below the level of Will Transcendence. Even if the enemy was a top Supreme Will Realm Expert, they would be instantly killed by an ordinary Origin Walker. There was no comparison between the two. Furthermore, Zhou Zhou had discovered something. As an eternal soldier type, they naturally carried the legendary power of immortality in their bodies. And Zhou Zhou could even forcefully replicate their powers and augment themselves with the king's powers. This provided the most correct reference for Zhou Zhou to comprehend the power of the eternal immortal realm in advance. The more Origin Walkers there were, the easier it would be for him to comprehend them. In fact, after Zhou Zhou obtained the Origin Walker, he immediately instructed a clone to specially study the immortal power in their body. He had already gained a lot. He even had a rough idea of how to break through to the transcendent level in the future. Yes, Your Majesty. However, Your Majesty, please create a clone and borrow Your Majesty's power to extract the Origin Walker's recruitment books from the Scarlet Primordial Mother nest with me. Mugu said, no problem. Zhou Zhou nodded and immediately created a clone. He named him as Zhou Bing and sent him back to the Mu residence with Mugu. When Zheng Fugui saw this, he stood up with a chuckle, reporting to Your Majesty. Now that the number of our mysterious merchant chamber of commerce has been upgraded to a mid-level supreme territory, our probability of finding treasures has increased again. In the future, when we go out to do business, we should be able to bring back at least 100 billion god-tier treasures every time. The highest we can obtain is a top-notch Supreme Will Realm treasure. Ever since His Majesty sent a clone, some Supreme Will Realm experts, and a Will Transcendence expert to help protect our trade route, he has already repelled many thieves who covet our goods. Everything is moving in a good direction. Before long, I believe that our mysterious Chamber of Commerce's footprint will spread throughout the ultimate void Great Cosmos and become the most powerful business empire in the ultimate void Great Cosmos. Zheng Fugui said ambitiously. Zhou Zhou smiled and nodded. When Zheng Fugui saw this, he smiled and bowed before leaving. Carol Moeli stood up and said respectfully, reporting to Your Majesty. Your Majesty, after the territory was upgraded to a middle-rank supreme territory, our Permitha sacred boat already has 1 clergyman, 1 priest, 1 nun, and 100 life paladins of the Guy unit. These clergymen are enough to complete the war healing mission and the war resurrection mission with 1,000 soldiers. Also, currently, there are already 100 trillion high-level divine duty members of the Permitha sacred boat's God Spirit level. Every one of them has mastered the resurrection spells, and they can resurrect the deities of our country alone. My strength has also broken through the bottleneck and reached the mid-level Supreme Will Realm. Currently, I can revive about 1,000 Supreme Will Realm experts every day, including high-level Supreme Will Realm experts. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. At the same time, he felt somewhat glad. Fortunately, he did not choose to recruit soldiers. Instead, he chose to recruit a few Origin Walkers and nurture Supreme Will Realm experts. Otherwise, once these soldiers were summoned, not to mention anything else, just the matter of resurrection was an extremely difficult problem to solve. Once a super large-scale war broke out, he wouldn't be able to revive at all. Then, Zhou Zhou chatted with them for a while before letting them leave. Following that, Zhou Zhou chatted with they for a while more before letting them leave. It was the Supreme Lord talent that he had advanced to today. Specific talent effect 1. Every time a Lord conquers a multiverse faction, half of the living beings in this multiverse and all Supreme Will Realm experts will immediately submit to you. Specific talent effect 1. Every time a Lord conquers a multiverse faction, half of the living beings in this multiverse and all Supreme Will Realm experts will immediately submit to you. Specific talent effect 2. Every time a Lord conquers a multiverse faction, 10 Supreme Will Realm experts and 1,000 Supreme Gods will hear of your reputation and take the initiative to join you with everything they have. Specific talent effect 3. Every time a Lord conquers a multiverse faction, your reputation and luck in the multiverse will increase to a certain extent. Under the effect of reputation and luck, experts, geniuses, treasures, opportunities, strength, status, peach blossoms will gradually gather in your fate. Specific talent effect 4. Every time a lord conquers a multiverse faction, the basic strength of you and your generals and soldiers will increase by 0.1%. The maximum increase is 500%. Specific talent effect 5. You have been hailed as the king of conquest by all the living beings in the ultimate void great cosmos. All the enemies you encounter will fear your strength and reputation. When facing you, there is a small chance that they will surrender without a fight. Zhou Zhou nodded in surprise after reading it. The effect of the upgraded Lord talent was not bad. Originally, he only wanted to give it a try and increase this Lord talent. Unexpectedly, the rewards were surprisingly generous. This Lord talent of the King of Conquest was originally Mythical Tier's only Lord talent, Supreme Conquest. In the past, every time he conquered a territory, he would obtain the loyalty of many new recruits and experts and the Lord talent to seek refuge. It belonged to the Lord talent that increased the number of soldiers. Zhou Zhou thought that since Zhou Yu was conquering the various great cosmoses in the ultimate void cosmos every day, wouldn't it be a waste if he didn't use this Lord talent? Hence, he raised the Supreme Conquest to the only level. He did not expect the effect of this upgrade to be not bad. The effect of the first Lord talent was actually very ordinary. This was because his Sacred King Lord talent could also increase the loyalty of the subjects under him, and the effect of the increase was not inferior to it. The second Lord talent was very effective. Every time he conquered a multiverse faction, 10 Supreme Will Realm experts and 1,000 Supreme Gods would submit to him. According to the efficiency of Zhou Yu conquering 24 great cosmoses in one day yesterday, with this Lord talent effect alone, he could obtain at least 240 Supreme Will Realm experts and 24,000 Supreme God subordinates in a day. He only had 20,000 Supreme Gods and more than 100 Supreme Will Realm experts under his command. The second effect of this Lord talent could double the number of powerhouses under him in a day. As for the effects of the third Lord talent, Zhou Zhou was also very satisfied. Every conquest of a multiverse would increase his reputation and providence. As for the effects of reputation and luck, Zhou Zhou, as the Supreme Lord Reserve Army who had the highest luck benefits in the Supreme Great Cosmos, knew this too well. Therefore, he was very satisfied with this effect. This satisfaction even exceeded the effect of the Lord talent too. As for Lord talent effect 3, as a Lord talent that could increase the upper limit of the strength of the Lord and his generals and soldiers, Zhou Zhou liked it very much. With a 500% increase in basic strength, even a transcendent level expert would be envious. Not to mention a genius like Zhou Zhou, who was at the Supreme Will Realm but had top-notch willpower combat strength. He believed it. If his basic strength increased by 5 times, his combat strength would definitely increase by an earth-shattering amount. Even if it was not to the extent of pushing open the immortal gate, it was definitely a big step in that direction. However, it was a pity that it was a little difficult to achieve. Only by conquering a total of 5,000 multiverse factions could he obtain this 500% bonus. According to his current progress of 24 multiverse factions every day, he had to make Zhou Yu continuously fight in the ultimate void multiverse for more than 200 consecutive days in order to satisfy this condition. More than 200 days. This was naturally very short in the Reincarnation Sacred Palace. It passed in the blink of an eye. However, in the unpredictable world of reality, especially when the illusionist clan was watching from the sidelines, 200 days was a bit torturous. I'll take my time. Definitely less than 200 days. As my strength increase, the efficiency of Zhou Yu's conquest will definitely increase. I might be satisfied in less than 100 days, maybe even shorter. Zhou Zhou thought to himself. As for the final effect of the Lord talent, there was a very small chance that the enemy would directly surrender when facing his Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom army. Zhou Zhou was very familiar with this effect. Almost 90% of the lords of the Divine Kingdoms in the Supreme Great Cosmos would directly surrender when facing his Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom army. The difference in strength was too great after all. In the ultimate void Great Cosmos, such things rarely happened. This was because in the ultimate void great cosmos, the faction leaders of the various multiverse factions rarely heard of Zhou Zhou's reputation, nor did they understand the strength of this new sacred king. Therefore, when they faced Zhou Zhou's blazing sun divine kingdom army, most of them had a contemptuous attitude. They firmly resisted the blazing sun divine kingdom's invasion, and then they were crushed and conquered. However, in the future, with the help of this Lord Talent, his reputation in the ultimate void cosmos would become higher and higher, and he would become stronger and stronger. At that time, more and more multiverse factions would probably appear and surrender when facing his blazing sun divine kingdom army. Not bad, not bad. Zhou Zhou commented on this Lord Talent. Then he thought to himself, in the future, I can ask the Supreme Will to raise this Lord Talent to the transcendent level. There's Zhou Yu in the ultimate void great cosmos, fighting for me day and night. This Lord Talent will be used frequently and will bring me huge benefits and many powerful subordinates. The more Zhou Fight thought about it, the more he felt that his idea was good. Then he made up his mind. It was decided that the next transcendent Lord Talent was the Lord Talent of the King of Conquest. Then he left the reincarnation sacred palace and came to Mu Gu's residence. What surprised he was that when he arrived at Mu Gu's residence, he happened to see Mu Gu drinking tea and chatting with the clone he had just created, Zhou Bing. Zhou Zhou, what was this strange feeling of being replaced? Main body, you're here. Zhou Bing said naturally. Zhou Zhou, the strange feeling is getting stronger. Are you guys done? Zhou Zhou scratched his head and asked. Done. Without waiting for Mu Gu to speak, Zhou Bing nodded with a calm expression. It's very simple. Just pile all the scarlet energy needed to create supreme-grade soldier types on the scarlet monsters that can produce the Origin Walker recruitment books. That's the result. The 500 Origin Walker recruitment books and 500 Supreme Will Realm experts are all here. Take a look. After saying that, Zhou Bing threw a world ring to Zhou Zhou. Zhou Zhou took it and eagerly entered with his willpower. He soon saw the spoils of war inside. There was nothing wrong with the 500 Origin Walker recruitment books. The 500 Supreme Will Realm experts were also sleeping inside. Zhou Zhou took a look and was surprised to discover that half of these 500 Supreme Will Realm experts were from the Primordial Saint Soldier type, while the other half were from the Supreme God Soldier type. When he saw this, a smile appeared on his face. He naturally knew the professional strength of the prehistoric saints and supreme gods and devils. They also obtained the strength of the Supreme Will Realm. This way, even if they were only at the low-level Supreme Will Realm, their true combat strength was probably already comparable to the mid-level Supreme Will Realm. Coupled with the Will Holy artifacts and the various buffs of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, as well as the various Lord Talents and titles on him, their final true combat strength were probably not inferior to the high-level Supreme Will Realm. Okay. Well done, Mu Gu, Zhou Bing. Zhou Zhou praised them before turning to leave. He flew out of the Divine Kingdom world and headed straight for the Gate of Summoning in no time. Below, Wu Xian, who was wearing the uniform of the Legion Commander of the Homeland Defense Army, looked at Zhou Zhou's back view and clicked his tongue. Looks like His Majesty won't need it. I can relax for a while. A relaxed smile appeared on his face. Back when he was working in the Scarlet Primordial Mother Nest, he was so tired that he was about to die. There were so many monsters in the Scarlet Brood Mother after all. Even if they were relatively weak, cleaning up was a very tiring task. He could finally relax. Of course, even though he thought so, his loyalty to Zhou Zhou remained unchanged. Whatever Zhou Zhou asked he to do, he would still do it. However, who wouldn't be willing to do easier work? This was especially so for him, a general who had long thought of retiring. He smiled and turned to walk towards the headquarters of the Homeland Defense Army. He could not neglect his job, even though it was an entire day affair. In front of the Gate of Summoning, Zhou Zhou took out 500 Origin Walker recruitment books and threw them into the Gate of Summoning. There was naturally no need to throw in Will Origin cores because there were too few of them. 500 Origin Walkers walked out of the Gate of Summoning in no time. Greetings, Supreme. They bowed respectfully to Zhou Zhou. Even though they came from an immortal world, the Zhou Zhou in front of them was the owner of the Supreme title. The two sides were like soldiers and emperors. There was no comparison at all. Therefore, they were very polite to Zhou Zhou. It could even be said that they were very careful. Welcome to the Blazing Sun Holy Kingdom. Zhou Zhou smiled faintly and said, "From today onwards, you can form a separate army with the other 10 origin walkers. Its name will be the Immortal Army." "Yes, Supreme," they said respectfully. Zhou Zhou nodded and released the 500 Supreme Will Realm experts who had already woken up from the world rings. Then, he had the 500 origin walkers head straight to the Twilight battlefield. As for the 500 Supreme Will Realm experts, he got they to head to the ultimate void Great Cosmos and meet up with Zhou Yu to conquer the Great Cosmos factions in the ultimate void Great Cosmos. Then, he injected the power of his will into the gate of summoning and summoned today's subject. This was also a new change. After the gate of summoning advanced to the Supreme Will Realm, if he wanted to summon all the subjects he wanted in one go, he did not need to feed them the will origin nucleus. He only needed to inject enough willpower into it to summon all the subjects he wanted at once. This time, he summoned a total of 30 trillion subjects. He summoned more than 4 trillion subjects than usual, including 16 mid-level Supreme Will Realm experts. He asked these mid-level Supreme Will Realm experts who had been summoned and realized that they were all from the ultimate void Great Cosmos. After hearing the summons, they followed the feeling in their heart and were invited. As long as they was given a sufficient salary, they was willing to continue working for Zhou Zhou. Zhou Zhou was naturally satisfied with this. Then, he went to Jade Capital Immortal Mountain alone. After spending 1,000 low-tier deity-level elementary grade divine crystals, he summoned 100 heavenly soldiers, heavenly generals, and heavenly venerates of the capital units. At this moment, among the stars in the sky, another 14,211 completely different starry sky phenomena appeared. It was the cosmic phenomenon of a master god tier becoming a supreme god. Then, another 122 will pillars of light of different colors bloomed from the reincarnation sacred palace and shot into the starry sky. It was the advancement phenomenon of a quasi-supreme will realm expert advancing to the supreme will realm. Many experts who had been waiting for this moment were dumbfounded. More than 10,000 supreme gods and more than 100 supreme will realm experts were born at once. More than 10,000 supreme gods and more than 100 supreme will realm experts were born at once. In the entire ultimate void Great Cosmos, there was no one who had such means, right? On Zhou Zhou's side, after calculating, he nodded in satisfaction. Then, Zhou Zhou began to calculate the strength of his main combat army. His original military strength was 9,311 Guy units, 2,348 capital units, 238,174,728,974 soldiers, 27,123 Guy units, 4,730 capital units, 5,171,222,122,319 God spirits. 1 Guy unit 5,135,571,611,619 true God tiers. 138,179,392 Master Gods. 27,359 Supreme Gods. 188 Supreme Will Realm Experts. And 30 Will Transcendent Experts, including the 100 new capital units Heavenly Venerates, 500 Origin Walkers, and 516 Supreme Will Realm Experts. The total number of troops under him had already reached 9,311 Guy units, 2,448 capital units, 2,381, 349, 174, 728, 974 soldiers, 27,123 Guy units, 4,730 capital units. 5,171,222,024,122,319 God spirits. 1 Guy unit. 481,444,942,219,281 true God tiers. 321,123,612,457,519 Master Gods. 41,570 Supreme Gods, 704 Supreme Will Realm Experts, and 30 Transcendent Will Experts. After Zhou Zhou learned of his newest strength in the army, he immediately made the latest arrangements for these soldiers. Firstly, after Zhou Zhou learned of his newest troops, he immediately made the latest arrangements for these soldiers. Then, they were sent to the ultimate void battlefield, Zhou Zhou, the yellow sky great cosmos, Zhou 16, and the twilight battlefield, Zhou Fight. This was because these three places needed military support the most. As for the Supreme Great Cosmos and the Crimson Great Cosmos, his avatar said that there was not much pressure and that there was no need to send troops. Since Zhou Zhou knew that they had said so, he naturally would not make any unnecessary moves. Hence, he decided to focus his troops on the three main battlefields. Then, he returned to the Reincarnation Sacred Palace. As he continued cultivating, he divided a portion of his mind to pay attention to the situation on the various battlefields. The ultimate void great cosmos. Zhou Zhou and the generals and soldiers were heading to a multiverse faction called Half-Great Cosmos. This was because they were currently very far away from the Half-Great Cosmos. However, with the alligator they had obtained yesterday, they were confident that they could reach the Half-Great Cosmos in 15 minutes. Well done, alligator. When we go back, this emperor will reward you well. What do you want? Tell me when the time comes. Zhou Zhou was very satisfied with the alligator's speed. Thank you, your majesty. Alligator's eyes lit up, and it hurriedly said respectfully and excitedly. He already knew that the benefactor he was currently following was a rich man. The reward he mentioned was definitely not cheap. As the alligator flew at full speed, it was already thinking about what reward it wanted for tonight. He originally thought that being captured by His Majesty was the beginning of another calamity. However, from the looks of it, this was not a disaster. This was clearly an opportunity for him. He had to please this common people's sacred king. Qi Xintian, Zhou Zhou shouted. Your Majesty, Qi Xintian, who was already a mid-level supreme will realm expert, teleported in front of Zhou Zhou and said respectfully, what's today's goal? Tell this emperor briefly which ones are strong and which ones are weak. Zhou Zhou said, yes, your majesty. Qi Xintian said respectfully. After our discussion, we have decided that we can use the greatest efficiency to conquer the 30 multiverse factions today. Currently, the multiverse factions we've chosen are the ones closest to us and the fastest to arrive. As for the difference in strength, to us, they are all forces of the universe that can crush us at will. There are no forces of the universe that pose a threat to our army. Zhou Zhou nodded. At this moment, a message came from their personal terminals. Zhou Zhou looked over, and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Qi Xintian, you saw it too. My main body sent me 100 trillion Master God tier for 1,000 Supreme Gods and 200 new Supreme will realm experts. With these new troops, how many more multiverse factions do you think we can increase? Reporting to your majesty, I did some calculations just now. If we proceed with the perfect route, we can conquer 20 more multiverse factions. In total, we can conquer 50 multiverse factions today. Zhou Zhou nodded slightly and said, then let's follow this plan. Conquer these multiverse forces at full speed. Let's move as fast as we can. Let all living beings in the ultimate void great cosmos know the reputation of our blazing sun holy kingdom as soon as possible. Yes, your majesty, the yellow sky great cosmos. Zhou 16 was handling the memorials on the throne. As his holy sun divine kingdom's offensive in the yellow sky great cosmos intensified, there were more and more political and war affairs. As a result, Zhou 16 became busier and busier. Why don't I create a clone to help me deal with it? He could not help but have this thought. At this moment, he suddenly noticed the contents of an email. After watching for a few seconds, he smiled faintly. Master Ziwei and the Sky Demon Dao Ancestor, these two experts with transcendent wills, have noticed the existence of the Holy Sun Divine Kingdom so quickly. That makes sense also. He conquered so many supreme kingdoms and supreme kingdoms in a day. Moreover, the conqueror is a master god-tier kingdom. It's difficult not to notice such a situation. Fortunately, there's Heavenly the Arch-Vast Sun at the front line to implicate them. This way, even if they discover the anomaly of my Holy Sun Divine Kingdom, they won't be able to personally interfere with my progress for the time being. At most, they will send more supreme kingdoms, and some will transcendence-level experts to besiege my Holy Sun Divine Kingdom. When Zhou 16 said this, he could not help but laugh. How could this be used to deal with me? He is clearly here to give me extra food. I'll kill as many as they come. Zhou 16 thought to himself. At this moment, he suddenly received a message from Zhou Zhou's personal terminal. He looked at it and clicked his tongue in wonder. 100 trillion Master God tier for 1,000 Supreme Gods and 200 new Supreme Will Realm experts. Tisk. Looks like the pace of conquest today is going to be faster. Send them all to attack those supreme countries. I'll strive to complete the upgrade requirements for my main body's territory and country today. As long as nothing goes wrong with 15, we might be able to continue leveling up today. The Dusk Battlefield. Zhou Fight had also received 100 trillion Master God tier for 1,000 Supreme Gods and 200 newly advanced Supreme Will Realm experts who had just arrived at the Twilight Battlefield. The other Supreme Great Cosmos Supreme Will Realm experts were shocked speechless when they saw this scene. Was this the fucking Dusk Battlefield of their Supreme Great Cosmos? When did the Supreme Will Realm experts on their side become so abundant? Hundreds of them. It was too dreamy. They had this feeling in their hearts. Zhou Fight did not care about their reaction. This was because he had already been summoned to the Supreme Domain by the Supreme Will. Moreover, there was another existence waiting there. The God King Heaven Punishment. When he saw God King Heaven Punishment, he had a vague guess as to why the Supreme Will had called him over. And when the Supreme Will said that it wanted Zhou Zhou's main body to come over, Zhou Fight did not say anything. He closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, he was already Zhou Zhou. Teacher, Zhou Zhou said respectfully, the Dusk Battlefield's time cannot be delayed, so I'll make it short, the Supreme Will said. Then he pointed at God King Heaven Punishment beside him, and said, this morning, God King Heaven Punishment found me, and said that he wanted to put down his status as the first reserve army member of the Supreme Lord and give you the title of the first reserve army member of the Supreme Lord. And if you accept this title, I won't do any subsequent competition. Therefore, I can give you the title of Supreme Lord and the inheritance. Are you willing to use this method to obtain the position of Supreme Lord? When Zhou Zhou heard this, he glanced at God King Heaven Punishment. He realized that God King Heaven Punishment was looking at him openly. When he saw his gaze land on him, he smiled and nodded. When Zhou Zhou saw this, he did not hesitate and said, I'm willing. Okay. The Supreme Will smiled and nodded. Then he extended his right hand and saw a dark golden crystal appear in his hand. This is the supreme, undying inheritance that the Supreme Undying left behind for me before he knocked open the immortal gate. This is a complete immortal inheritance. At the same time, he contains the willpower of the Supreme Immortal. As long as you absorb him, your cultivation level can quickly advance to the low-level willpower level in a short period of time. At the same time, your various law skills will also rapidly increase in level because of the will comprehension. The most magical thing about it is that you don't have to worry about absorbing it and affecting your path. Because the Supreme Immortal Inheritance will accept all rivers and rivers, it won't affect the will of any willpower expert. At the same time, there's an eternal power in him. You can comprehend this eternal power to understand what kind of power eternal is. This is very beneficial for your future advancement to the eternal immortal realm. Zhou Zhou's eyes lit up. He immediately reached out and took the Eternal Realm Expert's inheritance. Thank you, Lord Supreme Will. He immediately expressed his gratitude. There's no need to thank me. This is what I should have given you. He smiled. Back then, the Supreme Immortal Teacher handed this inheritance to me because he hoped that I could find a good successor for him. Now, I've finally completed this task. Next, I can finally focus on preparing for the immortal realm. When the Supreme will reach the end, even with his mental state and cultivation, his eyes still revealed a look of yearning. Teacher, are you preparing to advance to the eternal immortal realm? The God King Heaven Punishment said in surprise. The Supreme Will smiled and nodded. The two of them looked at each other and said in unison, Congratulations, teacher. The Supreme Will smiled. When the time comes, I will look forward to you all entering the immortal palace, standing side by side with teacher. Zhou Zhou and God King Heaven Punishment did not speak. The former was because he felt that there was no need to make a promise in advance for something that he had not done. The latter simply felt that this matter was too difficult and did not dare to promise. Master, since you're leaving the Illusionist clan, the God King Heaven Punishment probed. I can't control the Illusionist clan, because the invasion of the Illusionist clan is an opportunity to reach the eternal immortal realm. If I take action and forcefully seal the entrance of the Illusionist clan into our world, it would be equivalent to destroying the immortal opportunity of other experts. That's not good. This is also why there are so many eternal immortal realm experts in our ultimate void great cosmos. But none of them are willing to completely resolve the crisis of the illusionary race. Zhou Zhou and God King Heaven Punishment were stunned, so there is such a secret reason. At this moment, the Supreme Will's expression changed. A new enemy has arrived at the Twilight battlefield. You guys deal with it. There are a lot of enemies this time. Be careful. Yes, teacher. The Supreme Will nodded slightly. Then, with a wave of his right hand, the two of them instantly disappeared from the spot. As for the Supreme Will, he turned around and walked towards the center of the Supreme Domain. A woman emitting a scarlet aura appeared in front of him when he was halfway there. It was the Crimson Overlord. Are you preparing to knock open the immortal gate? Yes, for the sake of the Supreme Teacher's inheritance. I've already stayed in this world for too long. Now that everything has been explained, it's time to leave. Aren't you afraid that after you leave, the illusionist clan will destroy the supreme great cosmos and descend into the ultimate void cosmos, fulfilling their ambition? That won't happen. The Supreme Will smiled and shook his head. How do you know not to? Just as the Crimson Overlord was about to retort, it suddenly thought of something and fell silent. He looked at the Supreme Will in disbelief and asked, "You saw it?" You're all ready. Shoo, don't say it, or I'll be chased away immediately." The Crimson Overlord was completely silent. How can you stay so long? My path is water. It's not easy to find. Scarlet. The Supreme Will looked at Crimson Overlord and said, "Your scarlet path is not inferior to my water path's potential. It's only slightly inferior to Zhou Zhou's special Lord path's potential. We come from the same origin. Since I can succeed, so can you." The Crimson Overlord didn't say anything and silently disappeared. The Supreme Will could not help but laugh. When I leave in the future, you can follow Zhou Zhou. He is the Supreme in heaven. Even I can't see the end of his potential in the future. Once he becomes undying in the future, he will be at the pinnacle of undying. If you follow him, you should be able to find your immortal opportunity very quickly. After a long time. Got it. The Crimson Overlord's voice sounded. The dusk battlefield. When Zhou Zhou and God King Heaven Punishment returned, they found that the army of the Supreme Great Cosmos had already started fighting the army of the illusionary race. Zhou Zhou glanced around and knew how many experts the illusionist clan had sent this time. Surprisingly, there were a total of 2,000 Supreme Will Realm experts and 100 Will Transcendence level experts. Even Zhou Zhou could not help but click his tongue when he saw such a large number of experts. Not to mention the God King Heaven Punishment beside him, who was completely dumbfounded. Why are there so many Supreme Will Realm experts and Will Transcendence experts? He muttered. Zhou Zhou closed his eyes. When he opened them again, he was already in Zhou Fight. Zhou Fight mumbled speechlessly. Then, he looked at the current situation and said casually, "The illusionist clan probably lost too much yesterday and forced them into a corner. They are going to give us a big one this time. But if they could send so many experts, why didn't they send them to attack us in the past? Why did they suddenly send so many experts this time? If they had attacked us like this in the past, I feel that our supreme great cosmos would have been captured long ago." Well, Zhou Zhou pondered for a moment and asked, "Does they need to pay any price to send experts from the illusionary world to our side?" "Yes, I heard from teacher that the price is very high. That's why so many experts are sent over every time." The God King Heaven Punishment nodded. When Zhou Fight heard this, he guessed. Then he must have been anxious from the beating yesterday, so he decided to take down our supreme great cosmos at all costs today and strive to settle this once and for all. The God King Heaven Punishment nodded thoughtfully. There really was such a possibility. They had also seen the growth of Zhou Zhou's strength after all. If this continued, there would probably be another powerful existence like the supreme great cosmos in the future. At that time, it would be even more difficult for the illusionist clan to invade the ultimate void great cosmos with the help of the supreme great cosmos. He was willing to pay any price in order to prevent Zhou Zhou from continuing to grow. What should we do next? The God King Heaven Punishment looked at Zhou Fight. He was now a true Supreme Lord. Zhou Fight smiled and shook his head. "Don't worry." He stretched his body and said with great interest, "Leave these illusionist clan to me. As for the 1,000 Supreme Will Realm experts, leave them to my origin walker. They can easily deal with them." The God King Heaven Punishment was shocked by Zhou Zhou's idea. Zhou Zhou actually wanted to challenge 100 willpower transcendent level experts by himself. Furthermore, the 100 so-called origin walkers under him actually wanted to challenge 1,000 supreme will realm experts and do something that none of them would dare to do even if they joined forces, even though he had already become a supreme lord. Wasn't this too bold? These supreme will realm experts of the supreme great cosmos already knew that Zhou Zhou had already become a supreme lord. While they was shocked, they also felt that it was only natural. If Zhou Zhou could not become a supreme lord, who else could? God King Heaven Punishment, Spring Autumn Dharma Lord, or perhaps the weakest lord of 10,000 evils who had been improving rapidly recently. None of them worked. They were worlds apart from the common people's sacred king. If any of these three could become a supreme lord, the other supreme will realm experts would more or less have some objections. However, when Zhou Zhou became the supreme lord, these experts had nothing to say, because they really admired this common people's sacred king. Even if they were surrounded by the reserve forces of the other three supreme lords, they could not go against their conscience and tell Zhou Zhou the reason why he could not become a true supreme lord. Even if they were surrounded by the reserve forces of the other three supreme lords, they could not go against their conscience and tell Zhou Zhou the reason why he could not become a true supreme lord. There was even less need to jump out and refute the other party. It should be to congratulate him. At this thought, they surrounded Zhou Fight and congratulated him. Some of the supreme will realm experts who were in the midst of battle even spared some effort to send a sound transmission to Zhou Fight to congratulate him on becoming a supreme lord. Zhou Fight replied with a smile. Then, he suddenly said, "Everyone, now is not the time to celebrate. Let this emperor and this emperor's generals and subordinates deal with these guys first." With that, Zhou Fight did not explain. He directly flew to the center of the battlefield with 100 origin walkers. Everyone was stunned. It took them a long time to react. They were shocked that Zhou Fight dared to bring a mere 100 subordinates to the center of the battlefield. They hurriedly asked Zhou Fight what he was doing. God King Heaven Punishment did not hide anything and revealed Zhou Fight's plan to him. The experts were shocked again. At the same time, they were all curious about how Zhou Fight would take these 100 subordinates to deal with all the supreme, will realm, and willpower realm experts brought by the illusionist clan. The dusk battlefield. At the center, after Zhou Fight flew over, he immediately attracted the attention of all the experts from the illusionist clan and supreme great cosmos. It's common people's sacred king. He is our target. This person is not only the future leader of the supreme great cosmos, but also the future leader of the ultimate void cosmos. He is our target. If we kill him, the difficulty of conquering the ultimate void cosmos will be much lower. Haha. A mere mid-level supreme will realm expert actually dares to come to the center of the war by relying on a mystic technique to increase his strength. Watch me take his life and seek credit from my superior. The experts of the illusionist clan quickly discussed. Then, he saw 300 to 400 top-notch supreme will realm experts and more than 20 will transcendence level experts actually give up on the opponents in front of them and fly towards Zhou Fight in unison. Zhou Fight had yet to make a move. The 100 origin walkers behind him had already stood up. They gathered together and cast a spell together. Soon, they created a grayish-white wedge among them. Immortal soldier-type talent. Ultimate wedge. Using the power of the immortal origin to construct the power of the immortal end, it would trigger the arrival of the designated day of the end of all living beings in the area, allowing their lives to end. All the supreme will realm experts of the illusionary race here will die. Ultimate wedge, activate. They shouted in unison. As soon as he finished speaking, the cuneiform text would suddenly emit a bright grayish-white light. This grayish-white light was like a domain halo that spread out, constantly expanding in all directions. All the illusionist clan members who were illuminated by the light of the domain turned into ashes and dissipated into the air. The other supreme will realm illusionist clan and the illusionist clan all felt their blood run cold after seeing this. What kind of power was this? How could he let a supreme will realm expert die without any resistance? Even if he could make a supreme will realm expert die so silently, he definitely could not make so many supreme will realm experts die so easily. D****. No matter what method you use, stop. One of the illusionist clan members roared. Then, he was about to attack these 100 origin walkers. Your opponent is me, not my origin walker. At this moment, Zhou Fight said with a faint smile. In the next second, Zhou Fight immediately unleashed his power. A total of 150,000 willpower transcendence-level powerhouses augmented Zhou Fight's body, causing his strength to immediately soar from the mid-level supreme will realm to the high-level willpower. Then, as if there was no end to it, it increased by a lot before stopping. Then, he immediately used the all the land in the world belongs to the king's will technique. He expanded his domain to the entire battlefield in an instant. I'll say, the effect of the conceptual god ability of the illusionist clan will be halved when they use the conceptual god ability in my domain. The weak conceptual god ability has a chance of losing its effect. As soon as he finished speaking, many members of the illusionist clan were horrified to find that their concept god power had been greatly weakened. Some of the concept god power of the illusionist clan had disappeared. The strength of the illusionist clan dropped drastically. The experts from the Supreme Great Cosmos and the Blazing Sun Holy Kingdom, who were fighting, they naturally wouldn't let go of such a good opportunity to turn the tables. They immediately used their own methods to counterattack these arrogant and complacent illusionist clan, taking control of the battlefield for the first time. The God King Heaven Punishment and the other experts of the Supreme Great Cosmos who had been observing the battlefield had already joined the battlefield to fight the army of the illusionary race. When he saw that Zhou Fight had managed to turn the tables on the battlefield with just one move, they looked shocked and pleasantly surprised. Especially God King Heaven Punishment. He felt that he had made the right choice. He no longer had any regrets about leaving his position as the first reserve army member of the Supreme Lord and allowing Zhou Zhou to become a Supreme Lord. I could never do that. Only the common people's sacred king, my former second brother, can do this. Only the common people's sacred king, my former second brother, can do this. The God King Heaven Punishment thought to himself. The other experts thought so too. At the same time, on the battlefield, Zhou Fight naturally did not have the time to care about his performance. He had shocked God King Heaven Punishment and the other experts. At this moment, his gaze had already landed on the 100 willpower transcendence. At this moment, after he finished casting all the land in the world belongs to the king. Even the powerhouses of the illusionist clan, whose willpower had transcended the level, were weakened by more than half of their concept god power. Even though none of them were ineffective, it was a huge blow to their strength. The 100 powerhouses glared at Zhou Fight in fear. A mere mid-level Supreme Realm cultivator can already have such a method. What will happen if you grow up completely? An expert of the illusionist clan said coldly. Attack together. Kill this guy at all costs. Even if we die because of this, the great illusionary origin and the master of the illusionary abyssal will revive us all. All the experts of the illusionist clan responded. You want to kill this emperor? It depends on whether you have the ability. Zhou Fight said with a faint smile. Then, he raised his right hand and aimed his palm at them. Myriad methods, star palm. He said softly. Boom. At this moment, the 100 experts present suddenly realized that they had arrived at a place filled with stars. They looked up at the starry sky in horror. However, he realized that every star in the starry sky gave an extremely dangerous feeling. It was as if they would descend from the sky in the next second and smash them into pieces. At this moment, Zhou Fight's cold voice sounded. How does it feel to be surrounded by 150,000 transcendent experts? The powerhouses of the illusionist clan had yet to understand what Zhou Fight meant. However, in the next second, they watched in horror as the stars above they began to tremble slightly. Then, the trembling became more and more intense, as if it was about to collapse. Finally, boom, 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 boom. A total of 150,000 stars fell from the sky and soon bombarded the 100 illusionist clan experts. In the beginning, they was still frantically resisting, but they couldn't take it anymore. This was because every strike from these 150,000 stars was equivalent to the full-strength strike of a supreme expert. The 100 of them might be able to withstand the combined attacks of 200 to 300 of them, but once their numbers exceeded them by 10 to 100 times, they would not be able to resist at all. In less than a few seconds, these 100 transcendent experts had all perished under the bombardment of the stars. When Zhou Fight saw this, he waved his hand calmly. 80% of the stars in the starry sky that had yet to fall disappeared. He had a calm expression. He didn't have the thrill of killing 100 willpower transcendent level experts in one move. It was like a person with 150,000 yuan in cash. He naturally wouldn't feel too excited if you asked him to spend 100 yuan on a meal. The current me possesses the full strength and moves of a 150,000 will transcendent expert. Ordinary willpower transcendent experts are no longer my match. Only quasi-eternal realm experts like Heavenly Axiom Lord, Saint Emperor Daheng, and Supreme will can be my match. Zhou Fight said softly. Then, he suddenly had an idea. He would let Zhou 16 attack the entire Yellow Heaven Great Cosmos tomorrow. There was no need to wait any longer. Even if Heavenly Axiom Lord personally descended, Zhou 16 should be able to defeat him by himself. At this moment, Zhou Fight had already unlocked the surrounding domains, allowing the 100 illusionist clan experts who had lost their willpower to appear above the battlefield. When they saw the tragic corpses of the 100 top-notch experts, both the Supreme Great Cosmos and the illusionist clan were shocked speechless. How long had it been? The common people's sacred king had actually killed all the experts with transcending wills? One of the illusionist clan's supreme-level experts looked at Zhou Fight in the sky and suddenly realized something. He murmured, "The information is wrong. The common people's regal doesn't have the strength of a Supreme Lord Reserve army. He has already grown to a level comparable to the Supreme Will. A second Supreme Will has already appeared in the Supreme Great Cosmos." The crowd was in an uproar. All the experts realized this. He also realized it. This was a true Supreme Lord. He was truly the successor of the Supreme Will. Be it in terms of strength, status, power, or prestige, they all perfectly matched the image of the Supreme Lord in their heart. At this moment, the morale of the Supreme Great Cosmos increased by 10 times again. The morale of the illusionist clan fell to rock bottom. Some members of the illusionist clan even started to flee in the direction where the illusionist clan entered the Supreme Great Cosmos in search of survival. Just as the experts of the Supreme Great Cosmos decided to take the opportunity to pursue, the hundreds of illusionist clan experts who fled at the beginning suddenly turned gray and then disintegrated in the air. Zhou Fight frowned in surprise. This was because he had a rare feeling of horror. It was as if an expert was secretly spying on him. No, not spying. Zhou Fight looked into the distance. A pitch-black eye had appeared behind the illusionary race at some point in time. He only revealed his eye, but it was so large that it blotted out the sun. It was as if the entire sky of the Land of Dusk was enveloped by this pitch-black eye. As for Zhou Fight, his entire body was tense. This was because he had sensed it. The eyes that blotted out the sky ignored the countless experts on the battlefield and only looked at him. However, he remained calm and composed on the surface. "I thought it was the Supreme Will. So it's you. Ha ha ha." The laughter of this mysterious existence sounded in the world. "Who are you?" Zhou Fight looked up and asked. "I am the Great One, the only existence on the same level as the illusionary origin in the illusionary world. All the members of the illusionist clan prefer to call this divine being by another name. Master of the illusionary abyssal. Common Regal, you are my only enemy, and I am also your only enemy. Don't try to escape your fate, because I believe that your determination to become eternal is definitely not inferior to mine. And this is precisely the reason why you and I are each other's archenemies. Oh yes, you've been looking for this. If you like it, I'll give it to you." With that, 2 streams of light flew over from afar and arrived in front of Zhou Fight at an astonishing speed. They floated in front of him. Zhou Fight looked at the 2 items. This was the last 2 fragments of the illusionary legendary tier Sage Seal. With them, Zhou Fight would have the complete illusionary legendary tier Sage Seal. However, Zhou Fight was not happy at all. "Great One." His expression was very solemn. Zhou Zhou was here personally, replacing Zhou Fight for an unknown period of time. He looked at the 2 pieces of the illusionary legendary tier sacred seal in front of him and knew in his heart that this was a letter of challenge from the master of illusionary abyssal. He didn't mind at all that he could collect the fragments of the illusionary legendary tier sacred seal and complete the reforging of the fragments of the legendary tier sacred seal to obtain this holy artifact that was comparable to an eternal artifact. The legendary tier Sage Seal had the absolute ability to enslave, kill, and control the illusionary race. However, this master of the illusionary abyssal did not mind handing it to him at all. This only proved one thing. The master of the illusionary abyssal was completely capable of resisting and even ignoring the influence of the legendary tier Sage Seal on him. At this moment, he already understood the content of the illusionary abyssal master's challenge to him. He would take down the ultimate void cosmos behind him if he won. If he won, he could also become the master of the illusionist clan with the power of the illusionary legendary tier Sage Seal. Then, he could rule the illusionist clan and the ultimate void great cosmos in one go, and become immortal with the help of the opportunities of the two worlds. Zhou Zhou sighed softly. If it was in the past, he would definitely accept this seal with confidence. However, the test he received was to knock open the door of immortality when his low level will transcended the level and stood side by side with the immortals in the door. As for Master of Illusionary Abyssal, he was probably the same as Sacred Emperor Dying. No, he should have far surpassed Sacred Emperor Dying and stood in the position of a true quasi-eternal realm expert. How could he fight him unless he could defeat the Master of Illusionary Abyssal when he was at the low level? However, it seemed a little difficult. He shook his head and stopped thinking about it. Instead, he focused his attention on the fragment of the legendary tier Illusionary Sage Seal in front of him. He stretched out his right hand, and the illusionary legendary tier Sacred Seal that was only left with a small portion appeared in his hand. Just as he took out the item, he saw the two pieces of the illusionary legendary tier Sacred Seal that he had just obtained fly into the incomplete parts like swallows returning to their nests, turning them into a complete treasure. A text notification appeared. Treasure name: Illusionary Legendary Tier Sage Seal. Treasure grade: Quasi-Immortal Holy Artifact. Treasure Effect 1. Death of Illusionist Clan. Activate the power of the Illusionist Sage Seal, giving the owner of the Illusionist Sage Seal the power to kill all illusionist creatures. Every life form of the Illusionist Clan that you have killed will be completely cut off from all life forms in this world and die. Treasure Effect 2. Illusionary Di Huang. Illusionary Legendary Tier Sacred Seal is the seal of the Illusionary Emperor. Whoever holds this seal can become the illusionary Di Huang who rules the entire illusionary clan after being recognized by the illusionary origin. Treasure description: the owner of this seal is Di Huang of Illusionary. Note: when the illusionary Sage Seal and the true Sage Seal are combined, Di Huang, who has both seals and is recognized by the two universes, can become eternal with the power of reality and illusionary. I see. This is the immortal opportunity that the Master of the Illusionary Abyssal mentioned. It's also the reason why the other party is so confident and bold as to hand it over to him. Because even if I get the Illusionary Legendary Tier Sage Seal, I can't become the illusionary Di Huang of the illusionary world without the recognition of the illusionary origin. Only I can defeat the Master of the Illusionary Abyssal fair and square and obtain the recognition of the illusionary origin. That's how I became Di Huang of Illusionary. Then, I'll obtain the identity of the true Di Huang of the ultimate void great cosmos. I can become eternal with the power of truth and illusionary. When Zhou Zhou thought of this, he took a deep breath, his eyes filled with solemnity. This was an open conspiracy. It was also the most upright battle between heroes. Di Huang. Sure, then let's have a fair competition. Even if I can only fight you with the strength of a lower will transcendent level, I will also beat you fair and square. Zhou Zhou thought to himself. This was the pride of a Di Huang. At this moment, the illusionary army seemed to have received some order and began to retreat slowly. In the end, he even retreated from the entire dusk battlefield to the illusionary world, so that there was no longer any member of the illusionary race in the entire illusionary world. The experts of the Supreme Great Cosmos were stunned seeing this scene. What happened? Why did the Illusionist clan leave? Didn't they always want to break through the dusk battlefield and enter the Supreme Great Cosmos, then use the Supreme Great Cosmos to attack the entire Ultimate Void Great Cosmos? Why did he suddenly leave? Did they give up on this offensive intention? Thinking of this possibility, even though they felt that the chances were slim, they still found it hard to contain their excitement. Defeating the Illusionist clan was their long-cherished wish since the Supreme Great Cosmos was born. Was this long-cherished wish finally about to come true? At this thought, They immediately flew towards Zhou Zhou. On Zhou Zhou's side, he looked at the battlefield below. Even though the illusionist clan had left, the 100 origin walkers under him still killed more than 800 supreme realm experts of the illusionist clan in this short period of attack. The results could be said to be fruitful. At this moment, he noticed that the supreme realm experts of the supreme great cosmos had flown over and surrounded him. They kept asking themselves, mainly whether the illusionist clan had really left and wanted him to give them an accurate answer. After some thought, Zhou Zhou nodded and shook his head. He left, but only temporarily. They will make a comeback when the time comes in the future. A portion of the supreme realm experts immediately revealed joy when they heard this. It was good that they could retreat for the time being. At the very least, they could have a period of peace and recuperation. This was already extremely rare for the experts of their supreme great cosmos. With this time to rest and recuperate, in addition to the benefits that the Supreme Lord had previously given them, they were confident that they could quickly increase their strength again in a short period of time. This way, even if the illusionist clan made a comeback in the future, they would have more confidence and strength to deal with them. The other Supreme realm experts did not think too much about it. When they heard from the Supreme Lord that the illusionist clan would make a comeback in the future, they immediately asked when the other party would return and if there was an accurate time. Zhou Zhou did not say anything. When will he be back in the future? Naturally, when he became the only leader of the ultimate void great cosmos and was acknowledged by the will of the ultimate void great origin, the other party would naturally come again. When the time comes, the final battle between the two not only determined the survival of their respective hometowns, but it also determined who could take this ultimate opportunity to become undying. At the thought that such a heavy burden that concerned the survival of a universe had suddenly fallen on his shoulders, even Zhou Zhou fell silent for a moment. When the Supreme realm experts saw Zhou Zhou's heavy expression that did not have the slightest hint of a smile, no one dared to speak for a moment, let alone continue asking the answer to the question they had just asked. Things were different now. The common people's sacred king was not only the future leader of the ultimate void great cosmos, but also the true supreme lord of their great cosmos. He was the only leader in the supreme great cosmos other than the supreme will. Seeing Zhou Zhou was equivalent to the arrival of a supreme will, absolute power and status. Who would dare to be disrespectful? Even God King Heaven Punishment and the others, who were familiar with Zhou Zhou, did not dare to speak. After a long time, Zhou Zhou said, "Everyone, there's no need to worry. The illusionist clan won't make a comeback anytime soon. Let's take advantage of this period of time to increase our strength. When the illusionist clan comes one day, we will be able to fight them in a better state and stronger strength." His lordship is right, the Supreme realm experts said respectfully. Then, they tacitly left the twilight battlefield together. God King Heaven Punishment and the others had originally wanted to stay. However, looking at the silent Zhou Zhou, he finally left. They could tell that Zhou Zhou had something on his mind. However, since Zhou Zhou was unwilling to say it, they did not probe further. After a long time, Zhou Zhou took a deep breath and did not think too much about this matter for the time being. He would just take it slow. He had never been in a hurry. Then, he returned his body to Zhou Fight, allowing Zhou Fight's willpower to penetrate deep into the twilight battlefield and begin to refine the core of this place. At night, in the reincarnation sacred palace, Zhou Zhou opened his eyes. He looked at his surroundings and felt that something had changed here. Wait, could it be? He had a thought. The Lord Talent information of the Reincarnation Sacred Palace appeared in front of him. Building name, Reincarnation Sacred Palace. Building level, special, unique. Construction function 1. Time reincarnation door, omitted. Construction function 2. Endless years, omitted. Construction function 2. Space-time reincarnation door, omitted. Construction function 2. Boundless space-time, omitted. Construction effect 3. Eternal Samsara Sacred Sect. Collect the immortal level inheritance of an eternal sempiternal realm expert and throw it into the eternal Samsara Sacred Sect. You can then enter the world of Samsara and experience the life of an eternal sempiternal realm expert before entering the immortal palace. This function can only be used once a year. Construction effect 3. Eternal immortality. After experiencing the life of an eternal immortal, there will be a portion of the eternal immortal energy left in your body for you to comprehend. Building description. It was once one of the world origin treasures of the reincarnation boundless universe. Later, it was taken away by the supreme will and refined into a supreme treasure with unbelievable abilities and unbelievable potential. Zhou Zhou's eyes widened. The reincarnation sacred palace had advanced to the mythical tier, the only Lord Talent. This naturally wasn't what shocked him the most. Now that he had become a supreme lord, the entire supreme great cosmos was his territory. Naturally, he could easily fulfill the promotion requirements of the reincarnation sacred palace. What shocked he the most was the effect of the eternal samsara sacred gate that had been unlocked after his advancement. As long as you collect and send immortal level inheritances to the eternal samsara sacred sect, you can experience the life of an eternal immortal level expert before entering the immortal palace. This, Zhou Zhou's heart was pounding excitedly. This was the life of an eternal immortal realm expert, not to mention anything else. Just this experience itself was extremely meaningful. The life of an eternal realm expert must be extremely rich. There were peaks and troughs. Of course, they could also be like the protagonists of the invincible style in novels. However, no matter what kind of life it was, it could definitely greatly increase his lack of mental state and willpower. Not to mention that an eternal immortal level expert must have had many precious inheritances in his life. Among them, the most precious inheritance was definitely the various immortal skills and immortal will comprehensions created by him. As long as he could experience this, it was equivalent to he not paying much of a price to obtain an incomparably perfect and detailed inheritance of an immortal level expert.